where you want it.
Bay 12, please.
Hello there, Transformers fans, and welcome back to another Bay 12 video review. And today we are reviewing the new Transformers Legacy United Thundertron. And this is another G1ized Prime Universe character, and they even once again included, if you look at the name right there, the Starseeker symbol. Captain of the Starseekers. I am so excited to get pirates again, and I hope this is the start of more Transformer pirates in the future, because there have been some really cool Transformer pirates throughout Transformers. While they have existed for a very long time, technically I think their first appearance was probably Beast War's second, or at least first on-screen appearance of pirates, or a pirate faction within Transformers was, I want to say, Beast War's second, with the Seacons of Beast War's second under Half Shell. And we got the first Thundertron figure in the Transformers Prime toy line back in the day, around the time I think the second season was airing. Now, Thundertron does technically and canonically appear in the Transformers Prime universe prior to this toy and prior to the other toy. A lot of people often forget about the Transformers Prime novel, Transformers Prime Retribution. And the Starseekers were very much a big part of that book, which takes place in the events before the main war we see on screen in the Transformers Prime series. So Thundertron is canon, he does exist, and he's a very, very cool character and cool character design. I am very happy we got a new Thundertron, and like I said, I really hope we got more Starseekers coming. While pirates aren't exactly a new concept to the Transformers Multiverse or Transformers franchise, it's a lightly explored one, or at least lighter than I would like for it to be explored. I definitely want to see more Transformers pirate content in the future, because having Transformer pirates just exploring the galaxy doing pirate stuff is kind of exciting to me. And once again, not very explored enough. But that aside, talking about wanting pirates, if you do or don't, here he is in the packaging. You got that open window packaging there. You've got that artwork of him in lion mode there on the front. On the side there, you've got a close-up and outer artwork shot of Thundertron. He's right in the center here of the Legacy United banner artwork. And on the back, you have some images of him in robot mode, his lion mode, and of course you've got his cutlass and the foot that comes off to become a peg leg. I love the peg leg feature. It's a very nice touch. I loved it on the original figure, and I still like it on this one. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the packaging. And here is Thundertron out of the box, and he's looking very cool. And the other thing I really like about his design is I like how regal his design looks. Very formal, like a lot of the pirate captains that you would see of Earth pirate fiction set around the 1700s-ish era. And it just looks so cool. The blue and gold play off of each other really well. He just looks like, you know, actually, he kind of looks like he's wearing a British officer uniform from like one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, kind of. But even still, as a pirate captain, it looks very cool. There's that Starseeker symbol there on his, I guess, tailcoat. Because, you know, like I said, uniform. They had tailcoats on their captain jackets, or some of them did, I guess. He has his cutlass, which is kind of similar to the design we got from the Transformers Prime release. With that release, we got this, you know, big, silly mech tech weapon like a lot of the other Voyager class had back then, where you can extend it and it would light up. I don't have batteries in this thing because I don't use it and I didn't want them to get gross inside there, but you would extend it like this, and then you could kind of hold it, or you could peg it onto like a forearm bit on the old figure. And I ended up having to get another one. If you disassembled it, you could make it to where he could just hold the other cutlass in his hand. And I really like it in that Energon blue. It looks so good. But the new release definitely improved upon that old design. You didn't have to modify it so he could hold it in his hand. In fact, I like that it has the little guard right here over the hand peg. I think that looks really cool. And I mentioned the peg leg on this character. This figure also has the peg leg feature. And just like with the old toy, you could have the foot either on, you could unpeg it, giving him the peg leg as you see right here. You could take this piece and on the old figure, instead of a heel, you had a 3mm port peg, which you could plug in various places. On this one, instead, you have this little peg right here, and this little rectangular peg right here, and then you can just add it to his cutlass, and that's just a little bit more guard on his cutlass. You can move these bits down to kind of make it look even cooler, make some more of those lion talons showing, stick this bit back up to have it more guarded in the middle. However you think it looks cool to you. I really like it as an option, or you can just leave the foot on and have him have symmetrical feet if you like. That was a feature that even went back to the original toy. And since I keep talking about it, here he is next to the original Prime Universe Thundertron. And it's funny to think of this figure as over 10 years old, but this is an over 10 years old figure now, and it's still pretty cool even to today. And there are some things I like about the original version that I wish carried over to here. Mainly, I like the lighter shade of blue on this one just a little bit more than this one. I also really like the translucent bits that this one had that this one doesn't. Now, that was more of a stylization thing for the toy line that they did on a lot of Voyager class figures for the Transformers Prime line, and some of those characters did not have those features on screen. Starscream, Optimus Prime are good examples of that. But that's not to say I still don't like it on this figure. Since we didn't physically see him in visual media, we only got to really read about him in a book. I don't see why the translucent bits could have stayed. However, I'm okay with how this figure turned out because there are a lot of things that this figure improved on from this version, in my opinion. But it's nice to have both because both are very cool. Not to mention all the really awesome repaints that Hasbro and Takara did with this mold. I kind of hope we get some of those out of this mold too in the future. Specifically, Alpha Trizer and the Leo Convoy that they did out of this figure right here, I think would be really cool with this one. He is fully articulated. Head is on a ball joint. Shoulder pads go up and down. Fully articulated shoulders. Now, the shoulder pads do kind of get in the way of that, you know, going all the way around motion, but you still have pretty good motion. If you stick the arm straight out, you can still rotate it all the way. So theoretically, it's still there. It's just the shoulder pads kind of get in the way a little bit there. Lower bicep swivel at the elbow joint there, single jointed elbows. Wrist swivel, even with the cool little lion claws coming out, there's still a wrist swivel there that I like. These little panels are on a ball joint, just like on the original figure, which is cool. No waist articulation that's meaningful. I mean, do you still have the swivel? Yes, but the tailcoats and stuff kind of get in the way. So while it's nice that it's there, you don't really get a lot of utilization out of it in robot mode. Hips, upper thigh, a swivel at the knee, just like with the other figure release, single jointed knees, and forward and back ankle, side to side ankle, and you don't really get a lot of that with this other leg, because this one is just the peg, but when you put this back on this side, you've got forward and back ankle, and no side to side ankle, but you do have forward and back ankle. Transformation is pretty simple, a lot like the original figure release, but there's some aspects of the transformation and the lion mode as a whole that I like better on this version than on the first version. That is definitely an improvement from the first version, especially in the legs, the rear legs more than the front, but especially in the legs. To start, what we're going to do is we're going to take off his cutlass. We're going to take off that lion foot. We're going to bring that little bit over towards the back so those lion talons are showing forward. We're going to take that foot. We're going to put it back on the peg leg there. Go ahead and put that other piece towards the back there. And then we're going to leave this section alone for the moment. Pull on this back section. Just kind of have it out and over here just for the moment, because it's just going to give us some more clearance and wiggle room while we're moving other pieces around. Speaking of moving other pieces around, go ahead and just kind of have the arms down here. Next section is the chest. Grab this chest section, pull up on this panel right here, pull that all the way up like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring this lion head down on these double hinge joints pretty much as far back as we can get it, which is, I guess, about there. And then bring this up as far as we can take it. There's a, there we go, square peg right here in the top. That's going to go in right there on the back of the neck. And it's important to get this kind of section done first. Get it pegged in, because it helps with the positioning of pretty much everything else after that. So after you get that pegged in, there's another little notch right here. Bring that lion head all the way up. You'll feel it click into place right there. And then come over here to the robot mode arms. Bring them up. Rotate them around like this. Bring those shoulder joints in. And then rotate on that bicep joint, because you want the shoulders to face like so. Rotate on that bicep joint, those forearms. You can peg those together right there in the middle. And then we're going to bring these down and up. And then these little pegs right here are going to peg in those little notches right there. So just get that all snug and in there, so it's kind of like he's holding up the front of his head with his hands. There's a couple little pegs right here on what was this crotch panel. Those are going to peg in on the bottom of the hands. So just get that lined up, get that connected. And there's kind of the front section of the lion, front chest portion. Those hands are covered. You can't see him anymore, which is kind of nice. Although now his stomach is exposed. Let's get this guy a sandwich. He's a little hollow in the middle. Open up these little shoulder pads up at the top, revealing those front lion legs. Bring that down. You can close that back up, rotate that forward. There's a little peg right here on the side of the knee. That's going to peg right there in the side of what was the forearm, helping that blend in even more, which is really cool. So do that right there. Flip those lion legs forward. There's his front legs all done. In fact, there's the front section of the lion all done. All that's really left to do now is the rear legs. And those are really easy at this point. So kind of bring those little side panels out a little. Bring that front thigh down. Bend that knee up. And then right in the middle of the shin, there's another hinge. You're going to bend that knee down. So there's one lion leg done. Do the same thing over here. Work with that articulation, get that positioning that you want. Bring those little flare bits back over to the back, or angle them down, however you like to angle those. Those are kind of up to you. How do you want to position those? His tail is pretty much in the same place it's always in, regardless of the mode it's in. You just kind of maneuver it and get it out of the way as you're transforming it. But there is Thundertron in his lion mode, and it's a pretty good looking lion mode, if I do say so myself. He does have articulating jaws, which do open and close. And as much as I like this one, I wish the lion head sculpt looked a little bit more lion-like. In his lion mode, he also kind of reminds me of Cybertron Snarl. And, I mean, the other one did a little bit too, but this one I feel reminds me a little bit more of Snarl, because The beast head looks a little bit more wolf-like than it does lion-like, and it is supposed to be a lion as far as I'm aware. So I just find that kind of interesting that that's how it ended up aesthetically. Does it still look cool? Absolutely. But does it scream lion to me? I mean, kind of. At least you still have like these bits to be, you know, the mane or whatever. But yeah, it's still a cool figure. Now for comparison, here is the new Thundertron next to the old Thundertron in their lion modes. And like I said, both kinda, you know, look a little wolfish. I feel like this one does just a little bit more than this one does, at least in the lion face. But both look very cool in lion mode. This guy's actually a good amount bigger than the first one in beast mode side by side, whereas in robot mode I felt like they were a little bit more equal sized. The other thing I like about the first one versus this one is there's a spring loaded stomach gap filler that they incorporated on this one that unfortunately did not come over onto this one. So that's another example of something that was kind of cooler on this version. I also like the length of the talons more on the first design versus this one. I mean, do they look cool? Sure. Do they fit this mold and body very well? Yes. And it's definitely more G1ized, because that's the other thing you got to keep in mind. This is just a G1ized take on this right here. So with that in mind, it's still cool. It's still fitting. It's just aesthetically, I just kind of prefer these. You know, that's just me. Other than that, there's a lot of changes that went over to this that I like more. For example, I kind of like the shorter, jagged, and broken and cracked little bits that this guy has. This guy is cool, but for someone with a peg leg, a lot of his body design just feels a little too clean, too in good shape, whereas there's just nicks and some dings in some places here. And the tail, I mean, tail's about the same either way. Both have the Starseeker symbol just about in the same place. His is more down to the side right here versus, you know, directly on the back. The lion mode front legs are much better on this one and much sturdier than on this one. And you have a little bit more articulation with them. I mean, you still pretty much have just forward and back, but you can unpeg this at any point and just use that whole leg. This just keeps it, you know, more sturdier, more stable, whereas over here, you've got just this little bit, the ankle, the talons can hinge a little, but nothing else, because if you unhook and untab everything over here, you've got this really weird leg which articulates weird over the front of the body. So that's another big improvement from this design over to the new design. Overall, Thundertron was a very surprising but welcome inclusion into the Legacy line with Legacy United. I am excited that we got a new Starseeker and excited for the possibility of more Starseekers. Let's go, Hasbro. Let's get some more Pirates and Transformers. I know there's a particular rumor going around that we might be seeing more, but we don't really report on rumors here. So until we get more solid information directly from Hasbro, we'll just have to hope and wait and see for more Starseekers in the future. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to today's review featuring the new Transformers Legacy United Thundertron. Stay tuned for more Transformers reviews. Like and subscribe and follow us on social media here on Bay 12. And check out our sister website and channel, CoolToyReview.com, and like and subscribe to the Cool Toy Review YouTube channel for more awesome toy-related content. If you like Star Wars, check out Rebelscum.com, the world's oldest and largest Star Wars fan informational website not owned by Disney. And in their nearly 30-year-long history, Rebelscum is hosting the first official Rebelscum Con this summer, June 27th through the 30th, at the Allen Convention Center in North Texas. To book your experience today, go to RebelscumConventions.com. Once again, that's RebelscumConventions.com to get your event passes. And now shirts and other merch are up and available on RebelscumConventions.com. There's a number of designs currently available with more coming soon. And not only that, These designs can be applied to shirts and other items that aren't just apparel, by the way, at, once again, rebelscumconventions.com. If you're looking for some awesome toys and other collectibles, come by our physical location inside Order 66 Multiverse in the shops at Willowbend Mall in Plano, Texas, which also houses Order 66 Toys, the world's official all-collectible Star Wars toy store. And in case you're not local, Order 66 goes live every Friday at 7 p.m. Central Time on the Order 66 Toys Facebook page, and they ship all around the world. Last but not least, check out our free archival website, collectorsoracle.com. There's a lot of Star Wars toy lines and collectibles that are cataloged on there that you can mark in your collection, mark that you'd like to have in your collection, send those lists to friends and family and social media alike, and start managing your collection like a pro, all absolutely free. We'll see you guys later. We'll see you another time. Transform and roll out.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.